I am Griffin Santopietro. I play Anthony Larusso on Cobra Kai, and I am here with the Man Cave Chronicles.
Griffin, welcome to the cave.
Thank you for having me.
All right, the listeners and viewers can recently see you as Anthony on season 4 of Cobra Kai. Man, what an exciting ride! Number 1 now on Netflix again. Every time it comes out, it's always
Again,
hitting that number 1 spot.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. I can't believe it. I mean, I think last season 3 when it came out, when it hit number 1, I was really surprised. But now that's just where we are now.
That's right. That's right. Before we dive into season 4 and everything, I kind of want to I was doing some research. I want to know how did you land this role?
I remember it was so now with COVID and everything, everybody does all their auditions from home. But I remember back in that was 2017 when I got my first audition. I drove up to New York with my mom and we went to a studio to record it with the acting coach. No, not even. It was just someone to record it. And I was aware of the original movie, but I didn't really know what the show was. I only had one short scene that I did, but I booked it from that. I booked it from the tape. No callback or anything. It was just that.
No, did you originally go in for Anthony, or was it a different role? Or
no, I did go in for Anthony. Was always pretty straightforward of where they it was. I remember it was one of the breakfast scenes where I mentioned that. Oh, he gives me a English muffin, and I ask if we're in Afghanistan or something. I said, I remember it was that only scene that I auditioned with, and I thought it was very funny. But yeah, no, I always was Anthony.
Yeah. So when you auditioned, did you have to audition in front of Ralph and everybody, or was it just you and the creators?
No, it was just a tape. Just
okay.
a tape.
Oh, wow.
I thought it would usually make sense for me to go onto a callback and with the creators, but no, it's just the tape. And because I also don't think oh no, yeah, it was just the tape. Yeah. I was so long ago at this point.
That's awesome. So when you booked the role and everything, how did you prepare to play this character?
It was funny because I didn't really have time, because I remember 2 days after auditioning, I get off the bus from school and my mom's like, "Oh, you got it. We got to go to Atlanta in 2 days." And I was like, "Okay, yeah, cool." It was fun though, because it's it was just me getting to be annoying, so it wasn't too hard for a kid at an annoying age to do.
Yeah.
But it was definitely one of my most nervous moments, because it was the first big thing I was doing.
So we see you between season 1 and season 4, your character is getting bigger, how do you feel, how much has he changed throughout the seasons?
I would say that, well, I think clearly a lot in that we see that, especially season 4, that he's not just the brat that we thought he was. He's got more to him. He's kind of just hanging out with the wrong people. So I'd say that we get to see him, you get to just explore him more, and that he's actually not just this shallow douchebag that you always see him as. He does have some questioning moments,
So you had a bigger role in season 1, season 2, season 3. We didn't see you as much. How come we didn't see you as much as season 3? And then season 4 was bam, you got a whole storyline happening.
I think it was season 3. I believe it. I think it's just they didn't have room. And at the time, I was because I think I did one scene. Well, I think I did 2 scenes. That one got cut. But I think season 3, if I remember correctly, they just had so much going on. And so it makes sense that they didn't do as much with Anthony. But it makes me feel better now that I know that season 4 was so good that it was kind of just saving it for the next season.
Now, how would you describe the season 4 storyline? And it's we saw you going from pretty much if you go to the movies, Ralph's character gets bullied. In season 4, you're kind of the bully now, bullying Kenny, which is a former guest of the show. Also, I had Dallas on a few weeks ago.
Oh, cool. Yeah, no, I thought that was an interesting way to go. Having him be the aggressor, with opposing what his dad was. And I think that's I think it's an interesting product of how maybe if his dad ever really talked to him about how he used to be bullied, Anthony would have a different mindset on it. But I think Anthony being a little more like Johnny was just an interesting way to go with his son.
You mentioned Johnny, like because he was the original like bully. And did you go back to
Mhm.
watch those scenes to kind of get an idea how you wanted to play this
Yeah,
character
definitely. Well,
this year?
because we had there's that scene where we bullied Dallas in like the park, and
Yeah.
that was supposed to be a mirror of the scene where Daniel gets bullied in the park. Um, and so I think that scene in particular was one that I thought was I thought that was a cool parallel that I looked at.
Yeah. Or even like the where you get chased in the hallways too. When you're chasing him in the
Right.
hallways, that's kind of like similar what happened on one of the movies also.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely like a parallel, but putting Anthony's son, Daniel's son, in the other shoes.
Yeah. Did Zapka give you any pointers how to play the bully?
I should ask them, but no, I that's definitely something I should have asked. Um, but it was definitely just a lot of fun because I feel like, especially since Anthony wasn't necessarily a full bully, he was just kind of there doing what his friends thought would be cool.
Yeah.
But it was just a lot of fun.
How would you describe the chemistry like between you and like Dallas with those scenes?
That was one that I think that's one of my favorite parts of the season, is because all the stuff like I think because we just had so much fun because him and I are it's funny because we're such good friends in real life and we have to be so mean to each other.
Yeah.
But those scenes were the most fun, I think, because we just kind of clicked on like a lot of things when we were doing scenes together. Especially as we got to know each other more and more throughout the season.
Yeah. Describe the scene where is in season 9 or 10 where he's got you in the locker room during the tournament.
Oh
It's
yeah,
like
yeah.
it's like a powerful scene.
Yeah, no, that one was fun. I remember because I only figured out that was happening like a week before we did it. But when Dallas and I got that script, I actually went over because we were in the same hotel, and I went over to his room and we were like practicing what we wanted the fight scene to look like.
Yeah.
But that one was so much fun. I mean, that was like the first action I got to do on the show. And just getting it was just fun. Like, I had the pad on, he just kept hitting me. It was just a lot of fun. And it was a good like 2 days all in that scene.
Yeah. You said fighting in action. I know, like, we see with your character, Ralph's character, trains his daughter, Mary. We don't really see you getting any type of training except for like a little clip this year where he's trying to get you to do stuff in the Miyagi-Do area. And then does your character feels like he's being left out with the training? That's why he's acting like this?
Yeah, I think that's what we were trying to touch on in the Miyagi scene where Daniel and I are talking about how I think Anthony's lack of connection with the whole karate thing is why he's acting out. But also I think it's just it's Daniel and Anthony just don't know. I think by the end of the season they kind of learn how to work together. But they just weren't. Anthony just wasn't like Sam, so he never really got that same attention.
Yeah. Now, would you like to see your character eventually get some training and go on to like maybe even in the tournaments?
Yeah, for sure. I think that's where I would like to see Anthony go. Just really find his way,
Yeah. Is there anything you would change about him? Maybe no more tablet time because he's always on the tablet.
I think I could change that. That's a good question. I think the only thing I would change is that I would want him to. Well, actually, no, because he tried to apologize to Kenny. That's the only thing I would say is that like just try to be nicer to Kenny. But by the end of season 4, he's doing his best.
Yeah. What's the best advice that Ralph has given you on the show?
I would say I as I think about it, I can't think of particular advice, but I'd say just getting to work with him. I learned a lot about just like professionalism and acting itself that I think isn't something you could form into advice, but just something that you have to be there to learn.
Yeah. Who would you say is your favorite character on the show other than Anthony? Because everybody's gonna say it's me. It's
right.
me.
I would say my favorite other than Anthony's definitely Hawk.
Is there somebody on the show that you ever had scenes with that you're kind of hoping you get to work with in the future?
I would say scenes that I think like people I think would be cool to see Anthony interact with. It's definitely like Hawk for one. Hawk, okay. I'd say like Hawk and Dimitri because they're all kind of nerds. And then I think getting to see a little more of Anthony and Sam is what I think he needs right now.
Yeah. You know what's funny too is like throughout the season you've kind of butted heads with Zapka's character Johnny. Like this season you had, I forgot what line it was that you had in the kitchen with them.
Oh
one
yeah,
of
when he
the
talks about my growth spurt.
yeah.
That's what it was. Yeah, that one was so much fun. That was one of my favorite days, was just getting to be there with all the family.
Yeah.
That one was really fun. And yeah, I hope they continue to have that little comedic rivalry.
That's right. So we know the season 5 has been filmed, and we can't really talk about that, but like, how much more do you want to see this? You're hoping for the next few years?
I say, well, I'm so excited for season 5 to come out. I don't know when it's gonna happen, but I just think people are gonna love to see it, because it's like, I describe it as the Avengers Endgame of this universe. Like, it's intense, but it's so cool. So yeah.
So now what's next for you now? Any other projects that you got to go work on? You
Um,
taking some break?
well, I'm right now. There's a few things like in the works right now. There's just a lot. Like, it's a very overwhelming moment right now with season 4 coming out, but it's just so cool. But yeah, I'm very interested to see what these next couple months bring.
That's awesome. Griffin, lastly, how can the viewers and the listeners find you on social media?
I'm only on Instagram as Griffin Santopietro. And yeah, it's actually my only social media platform I'm actively using right now.
And Griffin, lastly, what do you want to tell the Cobra Kai fans, because they're going to be tuning into this interview?
I would say enjoy season 4 and be ready for season 5.
Griffin, thanks for coming on the show.
Great. Thank you for having me.